one chair there. We got one chair here. Get folks to go ahead and come on in. I'll introduce myself. I'm Martha Hunter. I am your vice chair. Riley is out sick tonight, so I'm filling in here at the very last minute, so we're doing good on that. We do have a couple of announcements, but we've got a lot of different speakers. So we're going to try to get all those all in pretty quick here. Could you use the microphone, please?
Hello, hello. Is that better? Okay, I'm a loud talker, so I have to work hard to talk soft into a microphone. Sorry about that. Okay, we had our No Kings Day protest here in Aniana recently. Woo-hoo! We had 40 to 50 people in Aniana, Alabama. Come on, we're turning it blue. This is pretty darn awesome. Big, huge thanks to Laura Parenta for her work in trying to get all these folks here. If you did not get an email about that, please be sure that Lee Lynn has your email address and that Laura has. And Laura needs your phone number. She's doing that via text. So if you'd like to be on that and you didn't get it, please check with Laura. Laura, stand up, raise your hand. Good.
And it's a private text, not a group text.
It's a private text and not a group text. All right, more work. I love that. We have 10 openings left on our executive committee. We've got a lot of people on the executive committee, but we've got, 8 people for each county, each district, and we need more people to be on our executive committee to help show up and do the work, and we're looking for you and you and you and you and you. So get with Lee Lynn and she can let you know where we have those openings. It's, I think, 4 males and 4 females from each district. We also have May 19th is when we have our primary, and we need more people to be poll watchers. And that's going to be real important. When we certify, we have to know, were there any problems that we saw when we were there? And to be able to talk to them both there at the thing. Lee, do you want to say anything about poll watchers? No. All right. So let's see. We've got a great lineup of folks here tonight. We've got Everett West, who's with the U.S. Senate. We've got CHIG Martin, who's running for governor. We have SHEILA McNeil. She is running for Public Service Commission, and she's got several things that we'll talk about on that. Violet Edwards, I haven't seen her yet, and she made it, but she is our state auditor. And Shane Weaver has been here before, but he wanted to, he's here tonight and has a few things, and so we'll put him at the end. We want to be sure that the new people have time to talk about these things. Does anyone have any questions, or are there other announcements that you can think of that we missed? Yes?
Absentee voting is going on now.
Okay, absentee voting is going on now. And so I understand there's several concerns about voting stuff right now. Absentee, that there's concerns about you have to mail it in way in advance. No? No? That's not happening? Okay. All right.
We have to like maybe sometime in May around election day.
Okay, around election day you can make that happen. Woo! All right, and I think that must be Violet Edwards. Hey, Violet. We did great. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 5 people that are here speaking roughly in an hour. That's what? That's 10 minutes each. All right. So we'll give 11 minutes. And then Shane, you get what's left over. We're going to remind people we've got snacks over here. We've got paper towels for all the pickup stuff. We've got plates if you got something messy. All the cups are reusable and the plates, so do not throw those away. Just put them in the sink and I'll gather those up and take those home. With that said, we're going to start big. Let's go with Everett West, U.S. Senate. Come on down.
Hello, Blount County. How's everybody doing? We got a bunch of Democrats in here. thought we were gonna start big. Chad, stand up. All right, I am Attorney Everett West, and I am working to be your next United States Senator. Attorney Everett West. I got into this race because I was looking at the plight of what was going on in Washington right now, what's going on with our current administration, and I just started thinking, I'm a father, I have 2 children, they're 40 and 45, and I have 6 grandchildren, and some of my grandchildren are beginning college right now, and I didn't like the way things were going in this country. I didn't like the way things were going in Washington. And 3 days before the final cutoff, I decided to put my name in and run for U.S. Senate. We need a great, viable candidate to run the U.S. Senate. I was looking at the other side, and we have potentially Barry Moore, a U.S. Congressman. We have potentially Steve Marshall, who is our current Attorney General. And I thought, you know, we need someone who's learned in the law. And I worked 26 years as a lawyer in Alabama. I've worked 8 years as a municipal judge for the city of Midfield. I worked 5 years as a municipal prosecutor. I worked 5 years as a municipal public defender. I have gone to federal courts, and I have defended and represented people. I've represented people on issues such as judicial authority, Article 3 of the Constitution. I've represented people concerning the Fourth Amendment, search and seizure. I've represented people concerning due process, and I've been a Sixth Amendment lawyer. I've represented people in Alabama, and now I want to represent you as your next United States Senator. So we have to be very careful about who we select as our United States Senator. I mean, we have to look at the nominees on the other side and make sure we have a viable nominee working on our side. And I'm telling you, Everett West is the best candidate for U.S. Senate. He is the best. This is a position where we make laws, and I have experience in the law. And we currently have 2 U.S. Congresspersons who are in the House who represents Alabama, Attorney Shamari Figures and Attorney Terry Sewell.
All right, yeah.
People who are learning the law. And now we need Attorney Everett West in the Senate. Let's get this trifecta going and have great representation for the state of Alabama. And I promise we'll do that if you send me to the U.S. Senate. Now we'll talk a little bit about my platform. I see some people sitting over here who have served. My father was a veteran also. And I believe that we should take care of our veterans. We should make sure that we have health care for our veterans. We should make sure that we have medical providers for our veterans. We should have doctors, nurses, social workers, hospitals all over the state. Our veterans have worked for us, and now we need to work and stand up for them. Is that right? And I thank you guys. Thank you for all that we've done. Concerning health care, I think we also need to provide funding. You know that's what the Senate, the House, the Congress does. We provide funding and we conduct oversight pursuant to the Constitution. I think we need to make sure we have adequate funding, federal funding, to make sure we have adequate health care in rural places like Blount County, Alabama. And I promise you I will do that as your next U.S. Senator. Health care is very important. Another thing I want to do is make sure that we have funding for public education. I'm a product of a good public education. And we need to make sure, you know, those cuts came through and we didn't know whether or not our institution was going to stand or not. He cut funding for UAB and medical research. He cut funding for Auburn and Alabama, 2 land grant universities, and they do a lot of good work and help farmers. They just indiscriminately cut funding for places like University of Alabama, Tuskegee University, who's doing great work for the people of Alabama. But I want to make sure that this funding is allocated and provide an oversight over this funding and make sure that these funds are going to do what Congress intended them to do. I promise I'll do that as your next U.S. Senator. And I think, you know, I worked in Huntsville a little bit. I don't look like it, but I used to be a rocket scientist in Huntsville, Alabama. I worked at Redstone Arsenal. My undergraduate degree is in computer science and mathematics, and I received an MBA a little bit later on. And I worked in the IT field for about 17 years. So I wrote software to program missile systems such as the Patriot missile, and I've also wrote and maintained software for NASA payload systems. And we just had a wonderful flight, you know, just last week that NASA conducted. So I appreciate what NASA is doing. I appreciate what our military is doing. I appreciate what is going on in at Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama. And I want to make sure that we provide funding and we provide oversight and make sure that these funds are intended to do what they're supposed to do. Another thing those cuts did in places like Huntsville, Alabama, and with the VA and VA providers, people were just laid off, forced to take early retirement. If you didn't have 90 days in, they just indiscriminately laid you off. And who did that hurt? That hurt families. That hurt people who had mortgages. That hurt people who had rent to pay, who had children in college, who had children in school, who needed to buy groceries. I want to make sure that we stabilize government. I want to make sure that I protect your rights. I want to make sure that we have co-equal branches of government and do the things that we ought to do in Congress. So I can talk all night long, but I'm going to stop right here. I want you to go out and tell Lottie, Dottie, and everybody that I met Attorney Everett West, and we're all going to go out and vote for Everett West, the best candidate for U.S. Senate. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take those. So thank you. And they may hold the questions to the end. That's fine.
Well, Julie, we've got an extra minute and 55 seconds. If anyone has any questions they want to ask right now, do we have them? If not, we can do those at the end.
Thank you all again for your time and attention. We have questions?
Yeah, equal branches of government.
Co-equal.
Okay. Public sector union within the federal government are a significant factor when the position of public sector unions and how much it controls the government.
What is my position?
Public sector unions. These employees of the federal government work for us, the taxpayers.
That's right.
Yet generally they have a union if you don't trust your employer.
Right.
They don't trust us, the American taxpayers.
Right.
Why do they pay?
I mean, my father was a shipyard worker back in Pascagoula, Mississippi. I've been in Alabama since 1979. But my father was a shipyard worker, and he worked for the unions, and he was a member of the union. So I remember there were times when they went on strike, and times when when things were hard. So I'm a product of a man who was a part of a union. He's deceased now, and again, he was a veteran as well. So I believe in unions. I believe people have a right to vote and make decisions as to whether or not they want to be in the union. I think the unions are good to protect the rights of workers. So I'm a proponent of unions. I'm standing here because of the union worker.
I understand that, in the private sector, I am too. I am a product of the national maritime, being a call as a career worker.
Right. Right.
But I'm talking about public sector unions, not private enterprise. We, the taxpayers, are the employers.
Right.
We have unions in the federal government because they don't trust us, the taxpayers.
Well, I mean, you know, I know I trust the taxpayers, and I know who I work for. I will be working for the taxpayers. So, you know, if we got private unions or unions that are not able to be held accountable, you know, I want to make sure that everybody is accountable, especially when it comes to taxpayers and taxpayers' funds. Okay?
And I would say my nephew is a federal worker, and he is part of a union, and the union is who's been standing up against what's been happening through the current administration. And so that his union is who is fighting for those federal employee jobs. So I don't know if that's answering your question.
No, the entire existence of public sector unions is what I'm questioning.
All right.
You're explaining that they're fighting a political battle from the current administration because they feel as the representatives of the employees, they don't like it.
Well, what?
Whether we like it or not, as employees or as taxpayers, this is what the elected is the result of the elections. We have a revolution every 4 years in this country.
Right.
They're called elections. Do they not trust taxpayers of the nation to have that insulated factor between the people inside the check in Washington and we the taxpayers?
What's your name, sir?
Right, Daddy?
Daddy? Mr. Daddy?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll talk to you more often, just make sure we understand what we're all talking about, and I'll stay here as long as I need to, and we'll make sure we're on the same page and try to answer your question, sir. But thank you for that question.
All right. All right. Again, so that we can get through our different speakers.
All right,
Thank you
that'll be
very much.
fine.
It was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. West
Okay.
Fifth.
All right. Next we're gonna have Ted Martin, who is running for governor. Come on down. Woo! All right, I'll start my little 10-minute timer.
It is good to be in Oneonta. It's such a fun town to say the name, you know? I was watching American Idol reruns, and they asked, the guy was from Oneonta, and they told, did y'all see that? They asked Carrie Underwood, I said, are you from Oneonta? Luke Bryan said, that's Oneonta. I'm CHIG Martin, and I'm not from the Florida Panhandle. I live in the state of Alabama. Not like who I'm opposing here, hopefully. But I do live in extreme South Alabama in the Wiregrass region. Anybody know where Enterprise, Alabama is by chance? Yeah. And most of you got a speeding ticket going to Panama City. We appreciate y'all supporting the community there in Enterprise. You know, I'm a little different. I guess I'm a politician now. I've been running for governor, so I guess I have to take that title. But I come from a real humble family down at Enterprise. I had a mom that she didn't finish 10th grade of high school, had a dad that just finished high school, and they got married at 16 years old and just worked their butts off through life and became small business owners down at Enterprise. I went to Enterprise High School down there. As Wes was joking around, I got a little size to me, so I got a football scholarship up here to Tennessee. Went up there and played football, and when I got finished, I came right back to Alabama, and that's where my career took off. Selling Electrolux vacuum cleaners, Lord of the Lord. What a horrible job, by the way. So I tell people, I learned rejection at a real early age in life. You know, you had to knock on about 30 or 40 doors. Then you may get to just demo one to somebody and clean their floor up and not make a sale. So, but, you know, I just kept working through life, and That job led to a better job, and that job led to a little bit better job, and then 23 years ago, I became a small business owner right here in the state of Alabama, started Thunder Industrial. My daughter runs it today. She's 31 years old, but she's worked there since she was 16 years old, so she knows the business. My mom and dad had a mobile home park down in Enterprise, and they passed away, and I took it over and run that. I like to consider myself an innovative businessman. I started the first hemp and CBD store in the state of Alabama, Honeysuckle Hemp. And yeah, I would have brought y'all also, but it's all illegal now, so they put us out of business on January 1st. But y'all would have been smiling really big. So I've worked in this state, I've run businesses in this state. I know how to make a business, I know how to employ Alabamians, give them good wages, give them good benefits, treat people right. That's what I come from personally. I'm the father of one beautiful 31-year-old daughter, Anna, and just proud of her, proud to be a dad. Here in the state of Alabama, we've got core problems in this state. We've got problems with livable wages. We've got problems with people not being able to afford health care. We've got one of the worst ranked school systems in the country. And quite honestly, one of the reasons I got in this race is you hear a lot of politicians, they can tell you all the problems, but they don't have a lot of solutions and plans to offer our citizens. And that's where you'll find this campaign is different. And we'll tackle some of when it comes to education, it just doesn't make sense. 46 out of 50 states have the lottery here in this country. It is not a moral issue like it used to be 25 years ago. People thought it's just a way of doing business in America right now. I mean, we have our people driving across these state lines. We're building schools in Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, while many of our students sit in schools that are dilapidated, with asbestos falling out of the ceilings, with outdated equipment. And it doesn't have to be that way. I can just tell you this, if this legislation would get busy here in Alabama and get this out and let the citizens vote on it, because that's what I want, my opinion, it would pass with over an 80% vote just by the people I talk to across the state. And I want all these funds to go to education. I want to get teachers better pay raises, not make them where they're some of the lowest paid in this country. I want to build new buildings for our students. I want to get updated technology for our students. And very importantly to me, I want to get scholarships for our students that excel here in Alabama that might not have a chance to go to college. It's so expensive. Everybody knows that. The average person cannot go off to college and go pay for a dorm and pay for, it's just almost, I mean, you're talking about, in some cases, $50,000 to $100,000 a year to go to college. And then these kids that take the student loans, their hands are tied for the next 20 years trying to just pay interest on the debt. So we can solve all that very easily if we will get a legislation busy and get to work and get this out to our citizens. When it comes to infrastructure, roads and bridges in this state, I don't know how it is around Aniana, but I can tell you around Enterprise, there's a few potholes that'll rattle your teeth. And you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of them. And the way I want to fix these infrastructure and just general state improvements, such as our state parks, I am big on facilities that are for the public. I love state parks. I love recreational facilities like these. We want to do good as a state in these things. And one of the ways we can do this, Alabama is a farming state. We all know that. And guess what? Our farmers are getting subsidies, billions of dollars, while they let their crops sit in a building, in a trailer, because they can't sell them, because we don't have any buyers right now because of all these tariffs and things like this going on. So we're paying farmer subsidies. That's not the way farmers want to live in this state. They want to grow their products, they want to sell their products, and they want to make a profit. And you know what we're going to do? Under my leadership, we're going to change the whole course of farming in Alabama, and we're going to push to be the best state in America in farming natural medicine and medicinal herbs right here in the state of Alabama. Our farmers are going to have a product that they can sell not only in the United States, but they can sell worldwide. We have the resources to become a global leader in something that is popular worldwide. And what I'm telling you is natural medicine has been around for thousands of years in this country. It's not anything new. Pharmaceutical has made natural medicine seem like dirty words, but it's not. Well, I want to take it a step farther. We have agricultural schools in this state, great ones like Auburn University, like Alabama A&M, among others. I want us to become the leader in teaching systems. I want to train the professors and give them PhDs in natural medicine, where these people can go throughout the world and teach, and even farther, help our state to grow, have a need for more natural medicines to grow. I mean, and what I want to do with all this money when it comes in, this will be toward general improvement to our state, roads, bridges, infrastructure. Now here's the big one. Everybody worries about health care, because I have to face this with my daughter. Her health care, she's a young person and paying a huge amount of money, even being that young, for her health care. Well, I've come up with a plan. That plan is called the Alabama Gaming and Health Care Fund. You can drive right over here into Mississippi, and you could be up in Tunica, or you could be up at down in Biloxi in a few hours. So the gambling's here. People say, oh, we don't have gambling in Alabama. Oh, yes, we do. It's just run by the Native American Indians right here in the state. Everybody wants to just forget that, but we have gambling already in this state. What I want to do is I want to have 4 zone gaming areas in this state. They will be sitting outside of metro cities in this state, like a Huntsville, or a Birmingham, or a Mobile, or a Montgomery. Every single bit of the gaming will be contained into those 4 areas. They will have entertainment for adults and for families. They will have lodging. They will have golf courses. They will have family entertainment. And guess what? We're going to have a board of you have to be run as a nonpartisan person on this to be on this board. And you can only serve 1 term on this board. We're going to make this thing corruption free. And this money is going to be divvied out to our citizens as a health care subsidy. And we're going to have an economic mechanism that supports our people right here in the state of Alabama, and we don't have to depend on the federal government. Is my time about up?
Yeah, you can go on with that.
Okay, all right. Hey, I'm Chad CHIG Martin. I want you to know it's an honor to be here in Aniana. I'm a first-time Anianer, so thank you.
I think we're going to hold questions to the end, because that gets a little long sometimes. All right, SHEILA MCNEIL is up next. SHEILA is running for Public Service Commission. Come on up here. And many of y'all remember we had John Northrup come and speak to us, and John has decided to drop out of the race because of some things that has happened in the legislature. So I'd like to give you 11 minutes.
And when you hear my name,
Well, good evening. It is indeed a pleasure and an honor to be here. The diversity and the energy in this room is amazing. So thank you all for being here and being so engaged in the process here in Blount County. So I'm just honored to be here. My name is SHEILA MCNEIL. I'm running for Public Service Commission Place 2. John was running for Place 1. And I'm running because I want to give the citizens of Alabama a choice and a voice. I want to give you a choice at the ballot and a voice on the commission. Now, historically in Alabama, when you go to the polls, typically you didn't see many Democrats to vote for. Well, that day has changed, okay? Because now all up and down the ballot, we got Democrats running in 2026, okay? And I'm tell you why I'm running, and I'm also going to tell you why this is important and why it gets important every time I get up to speak about what's going on with the Public Service Commission. And Blount County, you're directly affected. But I have been living in Alabama for the last 15 years. I did my undergraduate work at Oakwood University up in Huntsville. I have a master's degree in public administration. I have 20 years of public service experience. I served 2 terms on the city council in the then 8th largest city in the country. I served as the Madison County Democratic Chair for the last 2.5 years. I just stepped down to be able to come and run for this office because I felt the need to put my name in the hat. And I'm just excited to run for a position that is so important to the citizens of Alabama. I'm running because, you know, what's going on with the Public Service Commission has been incredible over the last few months. I don't know if y'all have been watching. Blount County, y'all on Alabama Power. Your bills have been a little high this year, right? I don't know if y'all have seen all the hoopla online, but people have been putting their bills on social media because they're so high. So I'm running because your bills are too high, and I want to work and fight for the voice and be a voice for the people to help get those bills down. So this year in the legislature, you know, individuals have been putting and making a big deal out of how high their bills are. So the legislature decided this year they wanted to do something about it. So what they first did was they introduced a bill that would change the Public Service Commission to an appointed commission. No, yeah, we don't want that. So, interesting enough, the citizens of Alabama rose up, they sent mass emails, and they blocked that bill and they shut it down, okay? So they stopped that bill, okay? Which is great. Well, the legislature wasn't done yet. They still wanted to try and control your voice and your vote when it comes to the Public Service Commission. So the next bill was a good bill, which was House Bill 475. It would require that the utility companies would undergo a yearly or every 3-year review so we can see where we are and why our bills are so high, and make the utility companies open up their books and show us why utility bills are so high. Okay, they should do it every year. So that bill is a good bill, but alongside of that bill, they introduced Senate Bill 360. 360 would expand the Public Service Commission to 7 people, and the governor would get to choose 4 new commissioners and an energy czar, or energy secretary. So you had those 2 competing bills, right? So what they finally did, y'all, was they took the good bill, gutted it, and put the guts from the bad bill into the good one. And then they called it the Power to the People Act. Well, there's no power to the people in those bills if they're gonna take your voice away by appointing the members of the commission. So let's talk about that for a minute. So on April 2nd, Governor K. Ivey signed into law the House Bill 475, the bad bill it's a horrible bill. It's the one that they gutted. They gutted the good one and put the bad guts into the good bill, right? But understand that on March 25th, absentee voting started. So how are you changing the entire structure of the Public Service Commission while people are voting for the Public Service Commission? How does that happen? Doesn't sound like something that should be happening right now. They also say in the bill that they're going to freeze utility rates till 2029. Sounds good, doesn't it? Okay, but wait a minute, aren't your bills already high? So they're freezing your bills at a high level, right? Is that good? No. So they're freezing your bills at a high level, but what they're really doing is they're freezing their profits for the next 3 years, okay? Because what happens is, if your bills are already high and they're frozen, then that means their profits are frozen at the high level. That's not good for the people of Alabama. It's unfair. So there's so much wrong with what they're doing in the Public Service Commission. That's why this position is so important. And it's important that you make sure you get to the polls and vote, because the only way we're going to get change is that we change who's in charge. That's the only way that's going to happen, okay? So if you want somebody who's going to go fight for you, I have, years, 20 years experience in public service. I am battle tested. I am ready. I'm prepared to go and fight for the voice of the people of Alabama to make sure that your voice is heard on that commission, that your utility bills come down, and that we get the utility companies to open up their books and show us why utility bills are the way they are. So I want to make sure that you are be able to, because if you think about it, your gas prices are up, your utility bills are up, food is high. But it doesn't have to be that way if you have people on the commission who are going to fight for you and make sure your voice is heard. So I want to be that person. The other thing that I want you to talk about as I'm here is, while we are running these races, I'm running statewide, and I am your Democratic nominee. You're not going to see me on the May 19th ballot, but you will see me on the November 3rd ballot. And I ask for your vote in November. I'm here because I want to make sure people know how important this is, even though I'm not on the ballot in May, but I want you to know how important this is and you get to the polls. The other thing I want you to know is, running these races statewide is not easy, but it also is expensive. So what I started was a 2 for 2. It's a fundraising initiative that I'd like to introduce to you tonight. I was inspired by this because back in 2018, there was a young lady who ran, I don't know if y'all remember her, Kari Powell. She ran for Public Service Commission and she got 680,000 votes. Now if I can get 680,000 people to give me $2, that's $1.2 million to run this race. And what that does, ladies and gentlemen, is it shows our opponents that we're serious, that we want to see change, but it's going to take money. Okay? So 2 for 2, 2 for place 2. If I can get everybody to do $2 for Public Service Commission place 2, I would appreciate it, because that will help us show our opponents that we're serious about what we're doing out here. Okay? So the QR code is on here. You just do the QR code and it'll get where it needs to go, and we can run this race. But I want to thank you all for having us here. It's been great. I don't know if you have any questions for me about the Public Service Commission and your utility bills. I am here to answer them. If I am here if you need me to address anything further on that bill.
I don't know. I have to say, this is one that we've been following. It's really crazy that they had a bill and all the messages were going out. Vote yes, vote yes, vote yes. They gutted it, used the same bill number, and then it's like, the whole thing was just crazy, and the fact that they dropped out the part about having to do the mandatory rate, where they have to justify. Yeah, so that they have to justify why they're charging you so much. So this whole thing was really very unfortunate, and we need somebody strong in our Public Service Commission that can stand up and speak up about that. And so I appreciate you coming. I look forward to seeing you on the ballot in November. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right, now we have Violet Edwards, running for state auditor. Come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Y'all had me energy earlier. I'm just going to say that. Well, thank you for your attention. Did I get an email today saying that you were the 67th and you were recently
Yes, we were the last county to get
to organize?
We had a Blount County party year before, but we just got recently reorganized.
Well, wonderful. Congratulations. And now, right now, we need you. So I'm Commissioner Violet Edwards. I represent the 6th District of Madison County, and it is indeed an honor to be here with you today. In Madison County, I was elected in 2020 20 and again in 2024, and I absolutely love my job. I'm the only black, I'm the only woman, and I'm the only Democrat. So I learned real fast to get anything done in Madison County, it really could not be about being red or being blue. It had to be about a goal. We had to have a vision, and there's something that we want to do. We're going to have to work together to get it accomplished. And I've had a very good run as a county commissioner. I have a senior center that was closed when I got there. We now have over 600 members at our senior center. I have a community garden, a community farm, 25 acres working with the University of Alabama, with Alabama A&M University and the Alabama Cooperative Extension. We have 25 acres. We have goats, we have sheep, volunteers, professors, my staff get out there and work, and everything we grow, we give to the community absolutely free because we're in a food desert. We have education programs. We have a lot of great things going on. I just recently reopened our farmers market, and we are working to open our very first animal control under my administration. So it has been a good run. But then I got a call in this December and said, Violet, we need you to do a little bit more. And I just got elected in 2024, so I was sitting at home just kind of chilling, working on my own projects. But then I was reminded that Alabama is absolutely worth fighting for. And while my bandwidth has been stretched in the position that I'm in, I should consider taking it one step further. And auditor was the best position as I looked at it, because I already worked with the audit and the board of registrars as a commissioner. It was a fantastic fit. Because I want you to know, as citizens of Alabama, you own $1.3 billion in assets. It is yours, it was bought with your tax dollars. Now the auditor doesn't come in and stop fraud on the front end. The auditor makes sure that your tax dollars were spent how they were supposed to spend on the back end. And we know how important it is to have somebody being the checks and balances and somebody watching over what is spent. And this means that if somebody goes out and buys 4 tires, that it ends up on the company vehicle and not on their personal vehicle. That if they buy a computer, that it's there doing their work job and not at home in their home office. Right now in the state of Alabama, our auditor office is not fully funded, nor is it fully staffed. We have over 190 agencies that get audited every other year, and we have a total of 9 people doing the work. So in Madison County, for my 4 little buildings, I have 21 people. I just want to say that out loud. Also, what the auditor does, it has the ability to appoint 66 members across the state to your board of registrars. That's 1 for every county except for Jefferson County. Your board of registrars. Think about it right now, some of the things that you're hearing with the SAVE Act and how our democracy is being attacked. It starts at that ballot box. Who do you go to register to vote? That board of registrars. So working with the county commission, I'm part of the commission administration association in Montgomery. And for the last 3 years we worked, in 2025, we got a law passed that says every board of registrars should be open when your courthouse is open, that those set hours should be posted on the doors, and that it should be somebody that is knowledgeable and somebody with the ability to do the job that's appointed to that position. So that means that even if your cousin's, mother's, uncle's, teacher's brother is appointed to that position, that person has to be qualified. So I worked on that legislation as a commissioner. Going into the auditor's position, I realized how important those appointments are, and will work to make sure that your registrar's office has the best person in there. Now, I don't know your registrar, I'm sure is a fantastic person, but I'm stressing that it's 66 appointments statewide. And right now, all of our registrars, you have not voted for an auditor as a Democrat in 8 years. So think about what your offices and what those appointments look like. Okay? So that is why I'm running. I am running for accountability, I'm running for transparency, and I'm running for integrity. I want to serve you. Someone asked me just Saturday, well, what does that transparency and accountability look for? Sheila just mentioned, first of all, thank you to all the candidates that's running, because we are all tired. We are doing this 3-4 days a week. You got Chad from down south, Sheila and I from up north, and we are here with you tonight. So thank them for being here. Thank y'all. So what does that accountability look like? Well, Sheila just said, right now she's doing a 2 for 2. So I look at our filings. I have a whopping $14,000 in the bank. My opponent has $677,000. I'm not going to outraise him, but I will outwork him. Because I am here with you tonight, looking you in your eye. So if you were to ever call me with any kind of issue and say, hey, Violet, remember when? I might be like, no. I am here asking for your vote. I remember you. I'm asking you for your vote. I am looking you in your eye, and I am bringing that integrity into the office. So again, I am Commissioner Violet Edwards. You can find more information about me at voteviolet.com. Hug one of these candidates, because we can't do this without you. We are out here, we are swinging, we are fighting. We understand the importance of your vote, but we need for you to join us. Go into that ballot in May and again in November, because I want y'all to know that right now is our time, and this is our season. And if we let this slip through our hands right now with all these Democrats on the ballot, it will be our fault. So get to the polls. Violet Edwards, y'all, for all of us.
We usually go, I think we try to clear out here at 7:30, is that right? 7:30 is what time we clear out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let Shane come up for a few minutes.
I'll let Shane come up for a few minutes, sorry about that. And we'll talk that, and then we'll have an opportunity to do some, ask some questions and answers, and then have some social. We've got snacks and stuff over here. You can have some one-on-one conversations with the candidates as well. So Shane, come on up.
So what I'm hearing is that 37 minutes? All right. I really just want to stand up here so you guys can see these awesome shirts I have now.
Shane, step up to the line.
How's this? I've really come across when you guys see these cool shirts. But I'm Shane Weaver. I'm running for Congress in Alabama's District 4, which obviously includes you guys in Blount County. First thing I want to talk about is I tried to hand everyone one of these. You guys started piling in, so I may have missed you. But I want you guys to look at this. If you did get one, grab one back there. Even if you don't care about the front, which I hope you do, but if you don't care about the back. This first QR code here, everyone in this room needs to scan this, and you can get all of your friends to scan this. This tells you if you are still registered to vote, and it will tell you where your polling place is. Because let me tell you, I was in Marion County Saturday. I was speaking to a lady who has voted for in every single election since the Civil Rights Movement, and she was removed from the voter polls. They are absolutely purging voter polls, and the people in this room are the people they're trying to purge. So make sure, if you can grab one of these, scan it, make sure. If it says you haven't registered to vote, right here's a link. Scan this QR code, register to vote. Send this link to everyone you know. Make sure they register to vote. This room, this energy in this room has my adrenaline pumping. This is amazing what I'm seeing here today. I can't even believe how great this is. My voice is a little shaky. It's not because I'm nervous, because I love an audience. It's the adrenaline that I've been feeling back there watching this crowd. You know, I've been traveling all over this district for 8 months now. I think this is my 4th time coming here, and I mean, I know I love you guys, but that's what I'm doing is I'm traveling. That's all I'm doing almost every day. Between now and May 5th, I've got 16 more events I'm going to. Almost every county I've been to 3, 4, 5 times. And the reason is because you got to get people out there. You got to get people to see you, understand your message, and understand what you're trying to do. And I'm not going to get into all that because more time, I'm kind of in the booth here. So on the front of this, it's been mentioned before, running for office is expensive. Unfortunately, for me, I'm someone that was raised to never ask for money. So that's the biggest hurdle I've had since I've started running for office. But this right here is a link to my AdBlue page. If you please donate, $2, $5. I don't have the pink parts that she has with too. I love that. But anything helps, I'm telling you. And especially with gas prices right now, it's insane. So anyway, so I've got a primary coming up May 19th. And I entered this race back in September, and I entered this race ready, prepared to kick Admiral's ass. That's why I'm here. Everything that I did was to prepare myself to beat Robert Adams. Found out that someone else was in the running. For the first time in decades, there's going to be a Democrat primary in District 4. All right? But I want to tell you guys that I'm the one that came into this race prepared for Adderholt. May 2nd, there's going to be an event. This is probably going to get a lot of publicity. May 2nd, there's an event that happens every single year in the far reaches of Marion County at Burr Fire Department. Over the last several years, it started out as a little chicken dinner fundraiser for this small little fire department, but over the decades, it's become this huge event that has hundreds of people show up. 95% Republicans will be there. Robert Adderholt will be there. But guess who else is going to be there? Me. Guess who's going to stand up there and point at Robert Adderholt and tell him how much he has failed us for 30 years? How much he has failed us by not living here in this county or in this district and knowing what all we face and knowing all the problems we have. And I'm going to beat him in November. He's been in there for 28 years. It's over. I'm taking him out of his seat and putting him in a pasture. All right? His shirt. I say what his shirts mean. I'm a big Beaver fan. That has a lot to do with it. But coming into this race, I come from Walker County. Okay? If you guys talk to me, you might know about that. There you go. If you know anything about Walker County, folks down there love to fight. Okay? I'm not any different. I'll just go ahead and say it. Got it a few months left when I was growing up. Anyway. So I come up with, this is being recorded. My girlfriend came up with a slogan. When she sees that, I make sure she gets credit for it. But it fits, because when I go into office, and when I swear that oath to the Constitution next January, right now, if you want to see ICE and these thugs with ICE taken out of our airports, taken off our streets, and put on the unemployment line, leave it to Weaver. If you want to see all of these corrupt politicians up there right now brought to justice, leave it to Weaver. And that goes for Trump, and that goes for Eric Swalwell. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. If you break the law, especially if it involves harming children or women, you absolutely will be brought to justice, and I'll make sure that happens. And we have so much going on in this country right now that is wrong, and I'm going to take care of as much as I can. I'm going to fight for this district, I'm going to fight for this county, and fight for Oneonta. Every single city and county in this district has their own unique problems. And I've lived here my entire life. District 4 has been my home. I grew up, I was born in Hamilton, grew up in Carbon Hill, lived in Northport. I've been in District 4 my entire life. I know what goes on in here. I know that this used to be a manufacturing powerhouse. I'm going to bring jobs back to this district. We have opportunities, like CHIG said, we have opportunities to bring in these farms to offer our medicinal crops. And we have opportunities to bring manufacturing back. Huntsville just opened a huge solar panel factory. We can do that here. We can bring in things like that because renewable energy is the future. Renewable energy is going to be a global, or already is a global presence, and there's no reason that Alabamians, because we have the people willing to work, that can come in and take those jobs. So, to conclude, I'm Shane Weaver. I'm running for Congress in District 4. I have a primary May 19th. And I would appreciate you guys if you could please give me your vote on May 19th, and then again on November when I kick Adderholt's ass. Okay? Thank you so much.
And I wanted to see the election protection. No, what was the name of? Who is that that's doing the recording?
Oh, that's us, sorry.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything about what your organization is real quick?
Well, for the time being, most people don't even know that these kinds of things happen.
Do you want to come up here and say?
Oh, I'd love to.
I'll just give it so people know that there's that information out there. Oh, I don't know.
Either way, I'll tell you either way. I don't remember the exact time we're given, however, because you just came up with it. But we specifically monitor these elections. We're not hecklers or anything, I promise, but most people don't know that these types of events even happen. City council things, every time we come together for a month, the Democrats meetings, I didn't even know about these things. Same with the Republicans or just any public hearing. Most people are not aware that they're happening. Most people are not aware of what's being said. Politicians like, CHIG here, most people don't even know they exist. That's what we're trying to fix, that's why we record, that's why we publicize them, that's why we put them on social media, that's why we do everything we can to bring, democracy to the average voter and just make sure that everybody, to the fullest capacity can at least know what's going on, because it's just a very small, minor population that actually knows what genuinely happens at these types of things. Not that it's anything shady, it's just, we don't know.
So if people people wanted to be able to share the information and to be able to watch the recording so they know what CHIG had to say, what our state auditor had to say, etc., where would they find this information?
I will have to get back to you on that because we are very new and this will probably be one of our first videos. I'm going to send that to her once we're done editing it and figuring this out. We're very new.
That's great. Well, I appreciate the service. I think that's really good. So,
Thank you.
All right, so we've got a few minutes here. Were there any questions that rose up, either for one of the candidates? Here we go. Come on now.
Good evening. My name is Mayra Rangel. I think some of you know me from last time. My questions are for Chad and sorry, Everett. Yes, and also for Shane. Okay. Yeah. Let me tell you a little bit about the immigration law that was introduced and the state legislation. It was HB 13. That was an anti-immigrant law that forced police to collaborate with ICE, like being ICE officers, like all of our police in the state to be forced to collaborate and be ICE officers. The law just died early this week. But sadly, it died because they ran out of time. Not because there were no votes for it. And it was a little sad because for me and for a lot of people that we're trying to see on the Democratic Party like people like allies for the immigrant community. And I don't know if you guys know, but most of the Democrats representatives were absent or they just abstained from voting. I think it was just one that voted yes. So my questions for you three is like, what is your stand on our families, right? Because we are mixed status families. There's like citizens. There's like undocumented. Oldest daughter can be undocumented on a family that everybody's a citizen. So what happens to one of our family affects all of us. And we need leadership, like you say, Chad, to solve problems, right? Not making more problems. I really wanted to go and talk to the representatives and senators and just tell them like what exactly they're trying to do. This like creating more problems to the state, destroying our families. We're living in a lot of fear right now, and it's overwhelming what is happening to our families. And we need leadership that is brave, right? Not to be abstaining from voting because they fear like that would affect it in some way. If you are brave and you vote for to defend what is right and values of human lives, you're gonna be so much better. I promise you. Because our families, we're Hispanic, we're immigrants, that are citizens. We don't vote. We're not Democrats and we're not Republicans, most of them, right? We are the indecisive. And the indecisive are the ones that are gonna take the Democratic Party to win. You know that. You're not gonna change Republicans. You're not. But you can change it. You can change us by being in our side and supporting like the values, truly values of family and Christian values that we so much like and we so much like say to everybody. But I want to ask you guys, what is your stand on immigration and on what's happening to our families right now?
Thank you.
Basically, when it comes to immigration, as a candidate for governor, I can just tell you how I feel personally. I'm not going to promise to. One thing I don't do in this campaign is I do not make promises that I cannot keep. But I will tell you how I feel about things, okay? I can just tell you this. I come from, I told you guys, Enterprise, Alabama. It is the peanut capital of the United States of America. We have the National Peanut Festival there. It is one of the biggest chicken processing centers in the state of Alabama, with several major processing plants, chicken houses everywhere. What I'm getting at, we are a farming community down there, and I have grown up for the last 40 years with immigrants in my community. And to be quite honest with you, some of these immigrants are some of the finest people that I know. Some of the most caring and kind people that I know. Families that don't get out of their car without getting their children out and holding their hand, walking into the store or wherever it may be. And I can tell you this, I promise you this, you have my word, if I'm elected here in the state of Alabama, we will not be harassing any citizens in the state that are here to try to just better themselves and live, just live life. I tell people this all the time, especially on the conservative side. Humanity does not stop at the border. You either care for people or you don't care for people. A borderline does not dictate that. But I can promise you this, if I'm elected governor here in the state of Alabama, the state of Alabama will not be involved with harassing you or your family or your friends. And that's a promise from me. I will not let that happen.
As you were talking, I pulled up a scripture when Jesus came out of the wilderness after being tempted. He read from Isaiah, and he said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at the liberty them that are bruised." I think it's terrible what's going on with ICE, what's going on with families, when children are being pulled away from their parents, when husbands and wives are being pulled apart. I think that's terrible. But there's a solution. I looked up and I asked, well, what is the problem and how can we fix this problem? And as your senator, I looked and there are 500 immigration judges in the nation. And there are like 3,000 to 5,000, depending on what reports you look at, 3,000 to 5,000 undocumented people who are waiting to get before a judge. Why don't we just provide more funding, get more judges, more court staff, so that the undocumented can come in and get their statuses determined one way or the other? That will resolve a lot of the issues. And another thing I thought about them, an 18-year-old Hispanic who came to my office and her father was arrested for DUI. And I asked her, "Are you registered to vote?" And she said, "No." 18 years old. And she was a U.S. citizen, but she was born here. "Are you advocating and going out and asking your friends to vote?" And she said, "No." So what I can do as a congressman, I can go out and try to make sure that we allocate funding to get more judges and court staff, personnel, so that we can get these cases through and make the determination of where the undocumented stands in this country. And then you don't have to look over your shoulder at night. But then what we can do is go out to the Hispanic communities, and that's the people who are in the Hispanic community, to go out and make sure you talk to your fellow citizens to make sure everybody's registered and ready to go out and vote on May the 19th and then in November. Thank you.
All right. Is this working? So, like I said earlier, one of the first things I want to do is defund ICE and get rid of that. Woo! constitutional rights. They're doing nothing but terrify people, keep them from wanting to vote, and try to get them out of this country. And let me tell you something. They sit there and they say that, hey, we're out here and we're catching all of these murderers and criminals and rapists and all these things that are flooding in from the border. Why are they going to schools and taking people? Why are they holding children to lure their parents out of their house? Why are they going into the back of restaurants and pulling people out? That's not what they're doing. Go look at the RNC back in 2025. We had all these people holding up signs, and it did not say we're anti-crime. It said mass deportations. That's what it said, because that's what they want. They want to get rid of everyone of color out of this country. And that's something that people like me are absolutely not going to stand for. Now, what I want to do is I want to see some real immigration reform that actually makes sense, and I want it to start with amnesty. I think we have so many people in this country right now that are called undocumented, but these people are keeping our communities thriving and working because they may be undocumented, they may not have a social security number, but they are putting every dollar they make back into this economy. And those people need to be recognized, need to become citizens. And for 2 years I worked at UAB for the foreign student exchange program. And I worked with a lot of those kids as they worked through becoming a U.S. citizen. And I'm sure most of you know it costs tens of thousands of dollars and can take up to 10 years to be a U.S. citizen. Now, we've got folks living here that folks like Trump and Noam and all of these horrible people want to throw out that have lived here 10, 20, 25 years. They've been living here. They've never lived anywhere else. They just want to kick them out of the country. They've never even visited. So we need to have an amnesty program that allows these people to come and start that process and have an expedient process for them to be able to become citizens. And that's what we need to do. We need to codify something that will allow them to do that. And we need to stop treating people of color as animals. And the way that people on the right have been doing is so disgusting to me. It gets me, I'm sorry, I get so pissed off about it. I can't stand it. When I watch these videos of ICE, something, I just drive my truck down and just run through all of them. But we have to have people come into Congress. I told you Walker County people like to fight. So we have to get people in Congress that are willing to stand up and actually do something. There are so many people that will sit there and they'll vote on party lines, but they'll say they're a Democrat, but they're not acting like it. And we need people like that that actually will. And when I get in there, I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that every single person in this country gets their opportunity to become the American that they want to be, get that American dream. Myself, I grew up dirt poor. I put myself through college. I became a IT project manager, and I've worked with companies all over the world. That's the American dream. And I think everyone is entitled to that because we're all human. As he said, we're all human, and it doesn't count that you're a different color, you come from a different country, that you're not human anymore. It's absolutely disgusting, and I will fight I will fight every single day to make sure that you folks and all of the people that are coming to this country seeking safety and seeking a good way of making a living are taken care of and become citizens in a faster rate.
And I wanted to just see, I want us to be able to find out how we can best support. Have been voiced some concerns about elections, and we want to find out how we can best help people, your community and other community members that may not feel comfortable. How can we make it comfortable for them to come and vote for what they want for our country and for our state? So I'd love to be in a conversation about that. There are some different organizations. We've got to stand up to be able to be in the country that we want to live in. And it's not going in the direction that I want it to go. And I think there are other people that feel that way as well. So what I'm hoping we can do is change that, but we have to stand up. It's not a bystander sport here. And so we need to be having these conversations with our other community members. How can we support them? How can we do that? It's too late to be a poll worker, but you can be a poll watcher. And there is another organization that is offering training, and I was looking on my phone, I can't find that information right now. But the League of, what is it?
We're going to train.
That we're going to do training for the poll watchers. But the League of Women Voters has teamed up with an organization that they train people to be outside of the voting place So they can actually have conversations. If someone does not feel comfortable, they will have t-shirts on that say they're with, I can't remember the name of it, Boat 866 or something like that. So that people will know that they can come and talk to them and share their experience they had. If they see ice showing up or anything unnatural happening there at the voting locations, then they are trained to have a number to call to bring people in to diffuse that situation and to take that. So I will see if we can, if I'll find that from Kathy with League of Women Voters and get that information out. But we need to be sure that everyone can exercise their right. I think you pointed out that absentee ballots are beginning now, and you can go ahead and do that. That may be what's more comfortable for some people. But don't be late in getting those in. Definitely do those as soon as you can. Yes, Lee?
There is a link from our BlountCountyDemocrats.com website. There's a link to find out if you're registered to vote. You can register to vote online.
Okay.
There's a link to the organization that you're talking about.
Well, I was looking for it, I didn't see it. But our website, BlountCountyDemocrats.org, has a link to check to make sure that you are still registered.com. Sorry, there you go. Thank you very much.
You said it's .org.
No,
It is .org. It's not .com.
no, we're not, I don't know, we're a corporation. We're a PAC. So, but go to our website, we've got information. Lee has links on there on how you can go in and make sure that you are still registered to vote. And I agree with Shane that you do need to check that there are people that are finding out they've been dropped off even though they've been voting. Does anyone know what happened with the SAVE Act and women? I don't even know where that is right now, but it did not pass, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Right, it did not pass. That was really going to be crazy because if women got married and their birth certificate doesn't match their driver's license, then that's a problem. So anyway.
There is also on the website, every candidate that has come here,
Okay.
there's a link to their website.
So on our website, BlountCountyDemocrats.com, every candidate that has been to see us has a link to their page and their information so that you can do that. Lee Lynn, will you stand up or wave your hand? Lee has been she's been the glue that has made a lot of things happen. Secretary of our executive committee. She is the one that makes sure that we have banners and that we have locations done. We have lots of volunteers that help out with stuff, but Lee also does our email list and our website. And all of those are great. We have people that are helping us with social media. We've got Angie back here, and I think Laura has been helping with that, as well as taking care of our No Kings Day. So we've got a lot of different folks that are helping in lots of different ways. So if you have any questions, and did I mention, look, you did a round of applause. The executive committee is made up of 8 people from each of our districts, and that's 4 males and 4 females, and we would love to invite more of you to be a part of that, and especially to have a larger, more diverse. This is who makes the main decisions and stuff. Right now, because we've been having candidates, we are starting to meet on Zoom for our executive committees, but we'll come back to where we'll having that more in the future, we think. Well, we're voting on that at our next executive committee meeting. So invite y'all to come. Please speak to Lee or someone at the table here if you have an interest in seeing if there's a space on the committee in one of those slots. And we also, I think, can have at large members. So we would love to invite you to be a part of this stuff. Great. Thank y'all all. Are there any more questions? I want to, yeah, the candidates we are on. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I have 2 questions.
I don't know if it was proposed. Maybe. There we go.
Well, everybody can hear me? Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Well, I have 2 questions. The first one is to every single person here. We are tired of lies. What question? Yes.
Are we tired of life? Oh,
Yes.
tired of life?
Yes, of lies.
Oh, of lies. Oh, yeah.
We are tired of false
Falsehood.
statements, speeches. Yes. We are tired, but we wanna continue to believe, and we would like to believe in the democracy. But especially at this time, I think we are running, or we are fighting with, it's a really, I'm not sure how this election, we have the opportunity, because I support the Democrats. I'm not sure if, I'm very disappointed, because so many Hispanics supporting the other people, and they are fighting with us, and we are brothers and sisters of God. We are one, or we are brothers and sisters. And the other question is, I'm not sure who can answer of the participants, but I'm thinking in my mom, in my aunt, because they are all, and I'm thinking in the benefits of the Medicare and Medicaid, and especially in my daughters. I have two girls with special needs, and we are worried for the benefits of the Medicaid and Medicare, because I'm not agree, because my mom is working, because she has 62. She's not ready to her retirement. But the payment of each month is very low. It's very low. So many people need work after their retirement. And I think it's not good, because they work all their life. And they continue working. I think it's not good. The taxes we need to see the taxes here, no in the wars in other countries. We need that money here, not in wars, or I'm not sure. I'm sure you understand me.
Yeah. So, I think that's it. I want to thank all y'all for coming tonight. If you used any, we want you to eat some snacks. Remember, everything is recyclable, so we'll put it in the sink instead of the trash can. We'd appreciate that. I think the candidates, I'd like to have you stand up here for a group picture real quick would be great. And then they will be here to have one-on-one conversations.